Hello, my name is Yasser and I'm a Catholic convert. I grew up in a Muslim family. My parents were not the most devout. My dad didn't really pray, but my mom prayed a few times a day. We would fast for Ramadan every year, but we wouldn't go to mosque or anything like that. So we didn't drink or eat pork. We held to all the traditional Muslim rules. So I'd say we were pretty average, culturally Muslim family. By the time I was in high school, I had a pretty agnostic view towards God. I believed that he existed, but I didn't think he was, I wasn't sure really of his nature at all. And then when I was a senior in high school, was when I decided to start looking more seriously into the nature of God and like the big world religions, just as a starting point. Started with Islam, but I was kind of turned away because it didn't make sense to me how God, being this infinitely good being, could accept any amount of sin. Like the Muslim idea of salvation is all about good deeds outweighing bad deeds. But if God is an infinite good, no amount of good deeds could be enough for him, right? So that pushed me away from Islam, and I became curious in Christianity. And the more I learned about Christianity, everything started to make sense. All my questions about God and about reality and just the nature of the world, of everything around us, all started to make sense. And really that love and suffering were the most powerful things in the world. I became a Christian, and I started going to church every week. And then I came to college with a pretty lukewarm faith. I didn't have that many friends around me in the faith. It was kind of hard to grow because I was a bit on my own. But I came to college, and I started going to a Catholic church. My university's Newman Center, and I found an amazing community there. And the Holy Spirit just showed me so much love in working through all the people there, especially the Focus missionaries, who really helped me learn more about the faith and about Catholicism in particular. And it was really the Eucharist that made me fall in love with the faith. And because to understand what this gift from God really is, of like the creator of the universe himself being able to be received in us physically, if you told this to a Muslim, that you could put God into a piece of bread and they could eat this to receive God into their body physically, they would walk on hot coals for a mile just to eat this bread even once. And we as Catholics, we have the luxury of going to Mass every day if we want to. So through the love of those people at the Newman Center, I started to get very serious about the faith, started going to daily Mass every day, praying the rosary every day. And I realized that this was a very serious part of my life, and I couldn't hide it from my parents any longer, as I had been doing for about 8 months at that point. So I decided I was going to tell them about my conversion when I went home for Thanksgiving break. Leading up to it, I was obviously nervous. I had no idea how they would react, but I had a lot of faith in God's plan, and I knew that whatever happened, it would all work out for the best in the end. And when I told them, I've never had a great relationship with my parents, and we got into a very bad fight when I initially told them. My mom especially was really upset. She was always the more religious of the two, and we both said some pretty hurtful things to each other. And then shortly after that, I went back to school, and our relationship stayed pretty strained. And during that time, I went through a lot of spiritual turmoil because I had spent my whole life kind of being lost, and then I got my life together. I found the truth. I found the faith, and everything was going good. I thought things would get better, but now I'm suffering, and my relationship with my parents is deteriorating, and all this bad stuff is happening as a direct result of my faith. And that was really hard for me to grapple with. But through that, I learned so much. And the way that Christ's sacrifice really heals us is through the love, right? For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son. And it's the love and the suffering, which is how we come to know the love, that truly transforms us. And it became very clear to me that the core of the Catholic faith is all about loving everybody around us as much as possible and offering up all the crosses that come with loving them, for their own salvation, because everything we do is for glorifying God, and what glorifies God more than love? Nothing. Love is the most powerful thing in the universe. And I can really attest to that. I mean, it has been so difficult to love my parents with everything that has happened, but it's the difficulty of loving and the struggle of loving. That's where the love itself is. If me and my parents got along and we had a great time every time we talked, there wouldn't be much opportunity for love there. But when I'm scared to text my mom, and when things are awkward on the phone, and when I can tell that we're upset with each other, but I love her anyway, I tell her that I love her, that's where all the greatness happens. That's where the magic happens. And that's the beauty of God and of the Catholic faith. So with that, I just wanted to end off by saying that I'm going to be baptized. I'm going to receive baptism, First Communion, and confirmation on April 4th of this year, 2026. I am, of course, I'm so excited I can't even put it into words, but I would really appreciate your prayers leading up to that, as well as your prayers for the healing of my relationship with my mom. Thank you.